Time is a finite resource, ladies and gentlemen. We only have a certain amount of it on this earth. Well, maybe more, depending on what your religious bent is. And it always irks me that sometimes at work I have to waste my precious finite time trying to reason with absolute turds. And it hurts me. It hurts me so. But thankfully, this week's over. I don't have to worry about the turds now till next week. And now I can concentrate on doing things that I like painting my Warhammer, and talking about my Warhammer, and seeing what the goings-on General 40k are. Things that make me happy and warm on the inside. Yes, the last 2 days have been trying. So, we've got 2 days worth of previews, quote-unquote, to get through. Like previews for Ninth, previews from Dominus box set, just general stuff that's got on the Warhammer community website. And I see a trend here. Sometimes GW starts off the week strong with good previews, and then they just sort of peter out at the end into like a sort of... But I may be surprised. Tomorrow they may blow my fucking mind when it comes to previews. But these last 2 days, yeah, not so much. I mean, starting from the beginning of the last 2 days, they showed us like a few new colour schemes for the Blade Guard veterans and a few new colour schemes for the Necron stuff. These are the guys, you know, and the robot guys or girls or whatever. Gender, Necrons are kind of gender neutral, aren't they? I mean, whatever goggle bits they had have long since gone. But yeah, they've previewed a few new paint schemes and variations on them. As you can see here, sometimes I think that it just... I don't know, I can't put my finger on it, but I know I am not the only one that's had a bit of a whinge, a bit of a man whinge, about, well, the design style you're going for these new Super Space Bros. You're making them very medieval knightish, and that's not going to gel quite with some of the existing legions. I know I'm not the only one that thinks that. And then they release a preview like this, saying, oh, look, you could see all these Blade Guard veterans in all these different Legion calls. And I'm like, are you guys listening? Or are we just ahead of the curve here? But, yeah, first off, they give us a Blood Angel one. I think the Blood Angel one pulls off quite nicely. You know, it's not... For me, Blood Angels have always been like the sort of Greco-Roman sort of Adonis sort of thing. You know, I can imagine Blood Angels with like the power armor with the six-pack in it. Very like ornate in the extreme. They really lean into that. Does this work? Yeah, it kind of does. But he's got a lot going on. The Blade Guard veteran. Like the more color schemes I see him in, the more sort of details I pick out that I wouldn't have picked out before. And from this picture, like looking straight on at him, he's got like a lot going on around that sort of chest mid-guard area. I mean, that gun holster, that sort of side pouch for that pistol, that plasma pistol, whatever kind of pistol it is, that's fucking huge. It's taken up a lot of real estate around his sort of giggle zone there. And yeah, it's just something like things like that I just never noticed before. But yeah, if there was an option to get rid of that and just have like sort of like six-pack breastplate in the front instead of a loincloth, I think that would have fit a lot more. And maybe have like not like a knight helmet, but like a helmet with like a wreath on it, sort of thing. That would be quite cool, and that would be very Blood Angels. But yeah, I mean, as far as in keeping with the Legion theme goes, bear in mind I'm not a Space Marine player, so this is completely my opinion. And my opinion about Space Marines is worth next to fuck all. I'll give it a 6 out of 10, just because the colour scheme picks out some nice, interesting details that I didn't notice before. Right, moving on to Iron Hands. Iron Hands. They believe that the flesh is weak and they are like cyborg boys. Cyborg space boys. They cut off one... I think they cut off one hand and get a cybernetic one in there to pay homage to their deceased Primarch, I think. A bit sketchy on the lore right now. That'll be it. Hang on a sec. But yeah. It's very... there. The thing is, right... If you say to me, here's an Iron Warrior. Not an Iron Warrior, it's completely different. Here's an Iron Hand. I'd go, yeah, that's a Space Marine painted to look like painted in the Iron Hand Legion colours, right? Okay, but if you had a Black Templar paint scheme on this, I wouldn't say that's a Space Marine painted in a Black Templar colour scheme. I'd say that's a Black Templar. That is 100% a Black Templar. You know what I mean? Like, this night aesthetic really lends itself well to that. So, excuse me, the model goes from this dude's painted like this to no, this is that dude and there's no mistaking it. Yeah, the Iron Hand one, I can't really get an opinion of it because it's just sort of like middle of the road. Like, it's just black and silver, isn't it? It's all the details that were picked out on the previous model, the Blood Angels model, now sort of like they're lost in the whole blackness of it. Again, my thoughts on Space Marines are worth next to fuck all because I'm a filthy Xenos player and I love it. But yeah, 5 out of 10 for that. It's basically a dude painted to look like an Iron Hand. Right. Now this one. I've heard murmurings about this one. This dude, if you read the blurb below, is painted in the colours of the Dark Angels First Company. Now, there's a few things to unpack about that. Oh, and it says there, oh, I guess these guys have managed to get into the inner circle. But there's a few things to unpack about this, right? Does the colour scheme look good? Yes. Dark Angels, those sort of like knights, that is a colour scheme that really would lend itself well to the aesthetic of this kind of Space Marine, you know, the knight sort of crusader kind of thing. Very nice. Thumbs up from that. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, Dark Angels players, but aren't the First Company like exclusively Terminators or like use like a shit ton of Terminator armor? This guy's bulky, but he ain't no Terminator. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh yeah, they've made the way. I don't know. It's just this is pathetic quibbling at the best, and that's all it is. But it's like they're meant to be Terminators. So is this the Primaris Terminator armor? Is that the message you're sending to us? Is that what we're going for here? And I'm pretty sure, even I know that Dark Angels don't trust anybody. They're very, very hush hush with the whole Caliban thing going on, and the betrayal. And they don't trust anybody. I mean, I think they let the Primaris into their ranks begrudgingly. Sort of like, yeah, you can come hang out with us, but you eat over there on the stupid table with all the losers. Don't come near us and don't touch our stuff. That kind of thing. So, saying, oh yeah, now one's gone to the inner circle, it just sort of like, I have no idea of the time frame or the time scale where, the Primaris were sort of like brought into the story and where they are now in Indominus in the 9th edition. I have no idea, I have no clue of that time frame. Perhaps enough time has passed that they have worked their way into the inner circle just from the, just the wear and tear of the 41st millennium. People fucking die and need to replace them. So maybe that's a thing. But yeah, it's just something that niggled me with that little passage at the bottom there. But it's probably based on fuck all because, like I say, I'm not a Space Marine lore buff. But as far as the colour scheme goes, yes. Fits right in with the Dark Angels. Very nice. Like it a lot. Now, that's the one half. Now we go on to the other half. And, right, guys, for me, this is just a couple of paint jobs of Necrons. But it's interesting because in the blurb above the pictures, they are referring to specific dynasties. Dynasties that don't really exist yet in the Necron Codex. Now, we know that the Silent King is going to have his own dynasty. Because now, I think I'm more caught up on my Necron lore because James is a Necron player, and Necrons are kind of cool. That the Silent King and the other Triarch, they were Pharaons. They were like the top Pharaons. So they obviously have their own dynasty, and obviously the Silent Kings is like the gold brass sort of one that we see knocking around with the trailers and whatnot. This one is the Traskura dynasty. Probably pronounced that completely wrong, but meh. The next one is the where is this one? The Necro Warrior from the Zarathor dynasty. Obviously showing off the different weapon varieties there. This one's kind of cool. I like the kind of like purple colour scheme going on there. I like purple as a colour just in general. So I like that one. And this is the classic one Saltech Dynasty. Very classic. Plastic Silver Necron. Mortal Undead Boyo. Very, very nice. So, you know, Necron players, you might be getting a few more Dynasties to shake a stick at in your upcoming release. So, you know, possibly look forward to that. Or it could just be fucking nothing. I mean, there's G-Steel Occults mentioned in my G-Steel Occult Codex that don't have anything substantial behind them, like rules and whatnot. So, meh, it could be something like that. We don't know until it's in front of us, do we? Right. Then, GW dropped the faction focus for the Adeptus Sororitas. And I thought to myself for this release, I was like, oh yes, they were in the trailer as well. It's hard to remember because Indominus is just, it's Space Marines and it's Necrons. And like, Sisters of Silence are there too. They were in the trailer as well. And I was like to myself, oh, it's a bit shitty they didn't get anything in the box set, like a little squad of sisters or something like that, but they've got the whole new range release, so I think they're supported well enough. I was like, oh yeah, they're there as well. It's like the Necrons and the Space Marines. The Necrons are pulling the most focus, and then the Space Marines bringing up the second, and then the girls, unfortunately, sort of completely fell out of my brain memory. Yeah, they did the faction focus, blah blah blah. This showed us how Lookout Sir is changing. Now, Lookout Sir is... I might even start referring to 9th edition as the edition where the grey area took a battering, because it just seems to like be reducing it and cutting chunks out of that grey area that we've all had to deal with. So, Lookout Sir. Models cannot target a unit that contains any character models with a wounds characteristic of 9 or less, same as we know right now. With a ranged weapon while it's within 3 of any other friendly vehicle or monster unit. Right, so that's clarifying that you've got a character and it's within 3 inches of a vehicle or a monster, you can't target it. Okay? Or, well, it's within 3 inches of any other friendly units have at least 3 models or more, unless that character unit is both visible to the firing unit and it is the closest enemy unit to the firing model. So, yeah, you can't target a character, if I'm reading this right, if it's within 3 inches of a monster, a vehicle, or a unit with 3 or more models in it. You can't target them. The Maelstrom of Battle makes it difficult to pick out such individuals. Ignore other enemy character models with the wounds characteristics of 9 or less to determine if the target is close enemy unit to the firing model. So yeah, no more of this. You can leave your character in the back sitting on an objective while you just like your rest of you ply forward and you just deny him deep strike. None of that shit. No, it's cutting down the grey area. If you want your character to be safe, you gotta keep him with either a vehicle or a monster or a unit with more than 3 models on. And that's just the way it is. So, great. Winner, chicken dinner for me. Just, again, cutting down that horrible grey area that none of us really like. You know, no one likes second-guessing the game, the rules, or having that fucking debate with the other player. Well, I think it means this. Well, I think it means this. Nerd off, meh, sort of thing. No one likes it, so. And it goes on to show more of the sisters, I was about to say the Hospitaller. No, is it the Hospital? I don't know how to pronounce it. It's got fucking silent words in it or whatnot. But yeah, stratagems that are already out there, that kind of thing. But, I think there was a little tidbit at the bottom here. Now, this has been picked up, and I've noticed it as well. Right at the bottom, and I'll bring it up on the screen now, in the asterisk. In the new edition, your charge roll has to be sufficient to reach all of the units you have declared a charge against, otherwise your charge is unsuccessful and no models are moved. So multi-charges, bam! If you want to charge anything, you've got to be able to charge everything. Yeah? I mean, I've been guilty of that. I've got into a range of like a few units and I'm like, right, my ideal target is over there because that guy's covered in bacon fat and I'm a tyrannid and I'm hungry. But I've got this target here, which, yeah, I probably wouldn't do much damage to him, but at least I'll be locked into combat and he won't shoot me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare charge against both, eat the overwatch of both, and if I don't make the long range one, I can definitely make the short range one. None of that no more. I've been guilty of it. It's like a way of hedging your bets. But no more. In the new edition, if this is right, you make a multi-charge, you have got to be able to, and you declare charge against 2 targets, you've got to make both charge rolls. Otherwise, you make none of them. Savvy? Savvy. Very nice. Again, that kind of change doesn't bug me, like, at all, really. I mean, for the amount of times it comes up for me, it is minimal. It is really, really kind of minimal. Yeah, and I think as far as like big news goes, that's sort of almost it. They also released a faction focus for the Orcs. Again, Orc players might want to take a read of that if you're thinking, well, how am I going to be doing the war at people in 9th edition? Go over there, take a read of that. The last segment, the last juicy nugget we got in the last 48 hours of, I want to say news, but it's just previews, isn't it? I mean, I'd say none of what we're seeing is earth-shattering insanity. But yeah, the models of Indomitus. Now, this is a video where obviously the guys, the boffins behind the models and whatnot talk about, you know, design aspects and painting and whatnot. Watch the video. You know, they've made it. It's a good watch. I mean, if you haven't watched the preview already, it goes over a few bits of that. But at the end of the video, it says that you could expect Indominus to hit the shelves and, by proxy, your wallets / purses next month. July. Oh yes. July is the time where this box set is dropping. So, boys and girls out there, this is basically the last call. You need to get a wiggle on. If you want to get all your Space Marines or Necrons painted up before this box set drops, then you need to move. Oh, and that's just in the nick of time. You guys probably can't hear that, but my earphones are going. Chris probably wants to jump on and play some video games, and because I'm a big man, baby, I want to play video games too while I'm drinking beer. So yeah, that's it for the video today, guys. Like I say, sorry about missing one yesterday. Normally I like to try and keep up to date with the news, a little bit there is, but work's been a bitch this week. But anyway, cheers. Good week, guys. Enjoy your weekend, and I will catch you all next time. See you later.